Hello, beautiful people. It's Sinderfam. Welcome to the channel. Today we're back again with another video from the Whatever podcast. Let's check it out.
Chase, would you rather smash the hottest trans woman in the world or the oldest woman in the world? Honestly, bro, the oldest woman in the world, because then I wouldn't be gay.
What? You really just want me to just rip you a fucking new one. Swear to
Are
God.
you like, Chase,
No.
how dare you be transphobic?
Yes, actually. What the fuck do you mean? Yes, that was
Because
so
if I
unnecessary.
had sex with a trans woman, I'd be having sex with a biological man, and I don't want to do that.
The question is,
That's
would they
not what
sleep
you
with
said,
you?
though. That's fine. If that's
Because
what you
I'd
want
be
to say.
gay if I had sex
That's
with a
not
biological
gay.
man.
That's not gay.
That's
And
gay.
I don't care if you're doing this for, like, whatever, but, like, shut the fuck up, actually.
I'm doing
You
it
look
for
like you
what-
have a
Hey,
leader
why-
respect
why don't-
No,
his
why don't-
street
that's too far.
identity.
That's
Why
too
don't you
fucking
why
far.
don't you make me
That's
shut
too
the fuck up? Because I have an opinion that differs from yours.
It's gonna be a part of something that's starting to say shit like that.
She's right. I mean, that's really
What?
hateful,
She's
bro.
not. She's not. It would technically be homosexual. A trans woman is a biological man.
I want to
Sue me.
meet
Stop,
you.
dude. That's mean. I also gotta go.
It's
I
not
gotta go.
fucked up. It's real.
That's
It's
his-
true.
Okay, if you guys want to
It's
respect gender
factual.
identities, that's his though. That's his sexuality.
Any opinions you want, but
I'm not allowed to
that
say that.
was
I'm
too
not allowed
fucking
to say
far.
that.
Yes, from a biological woman who doesn't even have any trans friends, that was too fucking far. A man of God who doesn't judge a Christian, yeah.
Yeah, you know what God said? It said He made them man and women. He made them man and
He
women.
actually said
I just
man,
told you I'm
woman,
not
and
gay. I'll
them.
pass on that. Thanks, though.
So,
No, he said
didn't take
God
your
created
own
man,
advice.
both
Nice.
male and female created
You
he
knew
them.
that stating biological
them. So there's
facts would
them.
make
They
people
them.
walk off the show.
No, the them refers to the men and the women.
no, but he
man
said
is the
them,
gender
so
neutral
it's
word.
like they, them.
He was referring to both of them.
But he said them, so he's like saying man created men and women in them. So he
No,
admitted
he
to
said in the beginning God created man, both male and female created he them.
them.
These are the
Them.
types
So
of
So
Yeah.
while
man.
other
Yeah.
countries
Right.
are planning
Male and
to
female.
invade us with
Right.
debating they them, the whole
I mean,
thing.
when you refer to multiple people, you say them, right?
Or you could be referring to they, thems.
It's English.
They thems don't exist. I hate to break it to
I've
you.
met some. It's crazy. You wouldn't
You've met
believe me.
very confused men and sometimes very confused women, but you have never met an
Most
actual
non-binary people I meet are women, not men.
Yeah.
Just gonna put that out there.
Really? Why do you think that is?
Maybe because they don't have to face the consequences of all their friends being jackasses. A woman coming out as non-binary probably will have a friend group that'll accept her more than
A man.
a man
Coming out as
non-binary.
Oh, I thought you were saying the women get into this stuff because they're really messed up or something more than the men are, but you're saying that this is a real category of being and it's just the men are afraid to admit it. You can't seriously believe that.
I do believe there's people who are, I don't know if it's ambiguous or what it is. There's people who were born in their wrong gender. There's people who are born and they don't feel like they fit in either box. Do I think people are born that believe they're cats and stuff? No. I don't believe that shit. No.
There are
Do I
people who
believe-
think that, though.
I'm saying no, I don't. I'm not saying that's correct, but I haven't seen anything to back that up. But I just,
So
the fact that you guys, in anyone's right mind would somebody go from, like Bruce Jenner, for example, or Caitlyn Jenner now,
Yeah.
for example,
Did you just
Successful.
dead name?
successful athlete, Olympian, whatever, all this
Guy in
stuff,
the Wheaties box.
was married to Kris Jenner, had life of whatever. Unless she truly believed that and felt that deep inside of her core, she ultimately ruined her life for basically a whole decade.
No, he became much more relevant and famous than he was.
I
previously.
highly
Obviously,
disagree.
he was on magazine covers.
Well,
Everybody
he
was
got
talking
way
about him.
more
We're talking
She's
about
been
him.
on magazine covers. She's an Olympian. That's not. She's
But
not
he had-
on. She's not on.
He was an
covers
Olympian
'cause
many
she's
decades
trans.
ago. No,
but
exactly.
exactly.
He was on a magazine cover for the first time in decades.
But
because
after
he
she
pretended to
came
be a woman.
out as transgender, she got way more hate.
Exactly.
And she got
The only thing
ruined
worse than being talked
relationships.
about is not being
But
talked
she probably
about. That's
made
how
more
show business
money.
works.
But no, she.
Okay,
she
so
lost a
take
lot of
away. Okay,
relationships.
But the
sorry.
reason he
take
did
away
that-
Caitlyn Jenner.
Do you know
Take
why?
a-
The
okay, no,
reason-
hold on. Put on your basic day-to-day person. Okay, you're not gonna like this one. Okay, I know, not you. You, for example. Okay, there's people like you who are super conservative, right in their
Handsome.
views and stuff, and then
Charming.
They wake up
And
and,
then-
they want to be a woman.
but is it because they just woke up and want to be a woman, or is it because they finally found the courage to
Well, maybe
come out
there's
with something they've
probably-
been suppressing their whole lives? I just don't understand why you guys think somebody would risk Like, yes, some people can benefit from coming out as trans, but most people do not benefit from that. So why would somebody risk their whole livelihood, not even just career, but literally especially black
because
trans
they have
people?
a sexual fetish. Because they have a
Also, why
disordered
does it
sexual
bother
desire.
you?
I
feel like
it's
why does
so
it bother
complex.
people?
Because it isn't true.
But why does it
Like,
bother
why
you?
is
It's
that?
not
Yeah.
harming you. It's not hurting anyone.
Well, it
like,
is
they're
harming
just-
society.
So
a
do
lot.
you go
I mean,
around
How?
fighting
Because-
people who think the world's flat? Do you go around
You're like,
fighting
you're
them?
harming society.
No, well, because in the case of transgenderism and this ridiculous idea that men can secretly be women and vice versa, there are very practical effects that we see. Like, for instance, if we
pushed
accept
onto
this,
children.
yeah, well, it's obvious. It's pushed onto children. We're castrating children left and right, which is insane. But also, if we accept transgenderism at all, even for one single adult person, that means that certain things will change in society. Women don't get to
Maybe
have their own
things
bathrooms
need to
anymore.
change.
Women don't get to have, well, perhaps, but at least one could have the debate. Women don't get to have their own bathrooms. Women don't get to have their own sports teams. Women don't get to have their own specific rights and places in society. Protections in civil rights law, they lose that because some men can say that they're women. And so it seems to me the obvious question to ask is not, well, what does it matter to you? Who really cares? First of all, the people pushing this seem to care a lot. But the question to ask is it true? Are these men who say that they're women actually women? Or are they men who are confused or who have weird sexual fetishes or have disordered desires?
Gender-wise, they
Obviously,
are.
it's the
Biologically, they're not. So
What's
gender.
the difference?
The difference is like science, and then the other difference is like how you feel in your head and the way you are in society. There's a huge difference. The difference is like the chromosomes and then your mentality.
Okay.
So this is my problem with lots of people twisting the Bible to fit whatever narrative they want, or to claim to fit their ideology that they're pushing. And can we go back to, even though we don't agree on the exact same standpoint or viewpoint, not to feel like your voice, or start shouting and feel like your voice is supposed to supersede over others? Because I mean, you believe in what you believe in, nobody cares. Also, let other people believe in what they want to believe in. But again, having a man having sex with a trans, or with a man playing dress up, it is homo, it is gay. Whatever anybody want to see it, it is gay. And it's that simple. And I don't think straight men want to be having sex with a man that is playing dress up. Now let's get back to this topic, this one in particular. Now, there is gender confusion, and a man wearing a dress does not mean that that man is a woman. The man is just being confused, or is in delusion, or living in delulu, because now you're trying to separate what is real and what is in your head. If you're only basing off things based on your feelings, or based on the things that is in your head, does that make it real? So let's look at Elon Musk. Do you think if Elon Musk just woke up one day and started telling people to see him as a billionaire when he wasn't even a billionaire, do you think people will see Elon Musk as a billionaire or call him crazy? I mean, the norms that we know that are supposed to be normal, we will twist it just because somebody's feelings. If everybody are basing off things based on people's feelings, do you think the society will contain us? No. Just because somebody woke up one day and say, oh, their bedside told them today that they are a woman, or they are whatever, or they choose not to identify as nothing, or they choose to identify as cats, does that make it real? Normally, these people are supposed to be in Yaba left, but we choose to treat these people as normal. It is not normal. They are confused, and it is not a bad thing. They need help. It is not a bad thing. Identify the confusion and know where it needs to be treated and needs to be talked about, because I can't even believe that women are saying, or feminists are saying, oh, a man playing dress up or wearing in a woman's dress is a woman, and it is real, and everybody should see it that way. So if you in your feelings, so why are you forcing people to see you in base of your feelings, and it is by force? So why is that?
Okay, so if there's a
good point.
disagreement between what you're saying is your physical self and your emotional self, your
Yes.
psychological self, then why would you not just change your mind? If the options are chop up your body to make go through gruesome surgeries that
if
are
you're
going to probably
living with
shorten
your mind
life,
for your whole life and you understand like, oh, I've been trying to change it. Like she said, most people are repressing it and are trying to change it, but they just can't. So why would this is something physical that I can easily go change instead of trying to retrain your thought process over and over and over and over
But
again.
it's
Like, it's because they'd rather be dead.
though.
They would rather be dead than live in the lie anymore.
But
is
the
what
problem,
it's getting to.
if you bring up like suicidality, there is no evidence that having these surgeries and pretending to be the opposite sex reduces any of that whatsoever. So the
Because
people
there's always going to be,
post-op,
because there's going to be, there's going to be dysphoria forever, especially
Yeah.
from people like you guys
so it
going
doesn't
on the
help.
internet.
No, it's from
fucking
themselves because they know that
bashing
they're living
them
a lie.
every day.
Yeah.
No,
That's
no,
my whole thing.
I'm not bashing anybody.
I'm not
No,
saying you.
you,
Okay, maybe I
but-
shouldn't say. Maybe Chase. Because my whole thing. Because I didn't even get to speak on the.
But what he
video of me
said
that
was
got played.
totally right.
Okay, so since we're gonna
Sure,
go back to
go
that,
ahead.
the video that got played, right? If you don't want to sleep with a trans woman, that is your prerogative. I don't give a fuck what you want to do. That is your preference. That does not make you transphobic at all. But to get up on a podcast that has almost 4 million viewers and to say that any man who chooses to sleep with a trans woman is now taking part in homosexual, gay activities, I feel like that is wrong. I feel like that is hateful. And for somebody who claims to be so religious, so God, new, born again, virgin, Christian, I think that's very hateful of you. If you want to say, I personally wouldn't do that, that's not for me, then that's your thing. Answer the question. That's how you do it. It's a step further.
Is it hateful to say that a man can't really secretly be a woman?
I'm saying it's hurtful to say that sleeping, for any man to sleep.
But the first question you have to answer is not
That's
sleeping
not.
with
But
who.
I'm
The
talking
fir-
about what happened on the podcast.
No, I know, but
I'm referring to
I'm
that.
picking up on his point. The question is, what is a trans woman? And so what Chase would say and what I would say and what everybody throughout all of human history until 5 minutes ago would say is that a trans woman is just a man who is pretending to be a woman.
So I'm the only one who thinks this in the world.
yeah,
You're,
you're
in the
trying to say.
minority.
No,
yeah.
she's
A lot
not.
of people
Yeah.
are saying it now, but you're historically speaking, yes. Statistically, 0% of people ever have thought that a man wearing
No,
a
there's
dress and a
cultures
That's
where
so
there's
incorrect.
cultures where they're
Then what about in
gender
They're
Thailand?
not realizing-
What about the femboys in Thailand that have
Yeah, well,
existed for
there-
decades and decades
right,
and
there-
decades and decades?
There's
and they're
this third
living.
weird thing in certain cultures, like a modern
So
culture
you don't
like Thailand.
don't erase them.
But that's-
Then you're erasing them. That's
No,
like me
but
trying to
you
erase your
are
religion.
even-
If I could be like, oh, well, there's some people who believe in this one
No,
ancient
but-
thing called the Bible.
but
Yeah,
even
some
the-
of them went and roamed with him.
But even
that
when you're
you're
talking about
erasing
when you're
a
talking
whole
about this
countries.
weird species of prostitute in Thailand,
Weird species of prostitute.
Yes,
You don't
that's what-
understand how that sounds. You know,
that
that's
sounds
what,
precise.
A weird species. Oh, so now we're not human. So back to
No,
the abortion.
a species in the
I'm
technical
just saying,
term.
Hold on.
Bro, if
Let,
you're
let
gonna
him
be-
let him explain. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so it's a type. So even there's this weird phenomenon in Thailand, for example, where there are these guys
That a
who
lot
get
of
weird
American
surgeries.
men go to.
Yeah, well, they probably shouldn't do that. But the reason that is different is because it's not, those people are not saying, I am really a woman. That's a weird, bizarre cultural carve-out that exists in Thailand. The difference here is, and what you are saying, is that a man who puts on a dress, puts on a wig, chops his body up, calls himself a woman, is actually a woman. And I just don't see how you could believe that that is true.
So she has a vagina, shit, probably fucking tighter than mine, double D racks,
Wait.
hair down to the fucking ass, looks like a woman, talks like a woman, does everything besides menstruate and can give birth. What is separating her between the woman who are infertile, who can't have birth, or a woman after menopause, or the woman who never get their period?
So physically,
Are they not women either?
physically speaking, one, those are pretty big differences, and there are other differences too in terms of their bone density and the shape of their
Oh, yeah, 'cause
skeletons
you're
or-
gonna- yeah.
But also there's the chromosomal differences, which is that that woman, as you call it, still chromosomally is a man. And then beyond that, are you actually saying that women are just their
Well,
bodies?
that's-
That a woman is nothing more than
Are you saying a woman is just her chromosomes? She's nothing more
no,
than
no,
just her
I'm
chromosomes?
saying a woman is much more than all of that. That actually
Me too. That's why I'm saying
But-
that.
but not just
if
chromosomes.
she feels, since
A-
the
a
day
woman
she
is
was
also a
woke up
soul,
in
is
this,
what I'm saying.
yes, and that person woke up the first day of their conscience, and since they can remember, they remember their soul being a woman or a man or whatever.
well, that's
trapped.
usually not true. That's usually a
it's
sexual
not
fetish
true.
that
You need to
develops.
understand why
But
it's
everyone
called- can I
feels
say
that way.
Well, that's
No,
why
I'm
So
just
do you
correcting.
believe people aren't gay either? Then do you believe nobody's gay and they just do it for attention
well, no,
as well?
to say I am gay means that I have an attraction to a member of the same sex.
Okay, I'm just
So-
clarifying because a lot of people who usually do this trans argument are also arguing that gay people don't exist either.
Nobody denies that certain people have different sexual attractions. In fact,
People deny it all the time. Actually, they say it's a choice that they're choosing to do that. They're
oh
not
well,
born that way.
they're certainly choosing to engage in certain behaviors.
But
yeah, that's true.
choosing to engage because it's your biological driven
No, you
duty.
can suppress your own desires. I have all sorts of desires that I repress.
Yes, you can
I
suppress
wanna
your
go-
own
I wanna go
desires,
eat a
but
cookie
why
right now.
should
I wanna
somebody?
go get a delicious hard seltzer. But I'm
Yes,
not
you can
gonna do
suppress
that.
your own desires, but why should somebody have to suppress if it's two legal consenting adults? Why should somebody have to suppress that just
They
because they're the
Because
same
we
gender?
have obligations to reality and to the truth.
What's the reality? The reality is we
The
should be a
reality
man and a
that
woman. That's the reality.
The reality is that a man in a dress is not a man, or is not a woman.
Okay, but now
rather.
I was trying to get away from
this
something
is,
else.
This is
Hold
why
on.
the
Yeah.
whole
Go
thing,
ahead,
the whole
Sam.
thing goes back to where it's called transgender and not transsex. Like it's you can't change your sex to the down to the bottom of it. Your chromosomes are going to be your chromosomes, but
Right.
they're
Into the
changing
mic, into the
their
mic.
gender. And gender is a man-made thing. It's something that we've created. We've created genders and gender roles in our society. We did not create sex. Yes, there's men and female. That goes back to science or God, whatever you
So
would like to say.
if gender is man-made, then you're saying it's artificial. It's not real.
It's not real.
Oh, okay. So then who cares?
Exactly. So why do you care?
Oh, well, if it's not real, then the trans woman is just a man.
For
'Cause
you,
you said-
maybe.
'cause you
But
said the
for
gender's not
her,
real.
she's a woman.
But
and
I
that's
think
fine.
gender is
And I
real.
don't think it should bother you. And I don't think it should get all these little incel men
Whoa,
angry
whoa,
about it.
You don't, do you not think? I mean,
Okay, I think the issue is that this whole conversation it makes the male role, right? It kind of creates the more. I don't know. I just think the whole argument about gender it's so pushed out into our society. I don't think it's like this in the rest of the world right now.
Right.
There's so many other issues like the
The
whole
rest of the world knows
like
what men
the
and women are.
62 different genders.
yeah.
It's kind of insane. I mean, I don't want to, I'm not hateful towards anyone. I think as long as you're a good person, you can do whatever you want. I just don't like that it's pushed onto children because like a lot of people that are getting these surgeries, they regret it. And then a lot of children that are put onto hormones, it really messes with your...
And also,
Well, there's a lot of
obviously,
things
this
recently
is
too.
something
I'm
that
sure
is
it is,
brand
but-
new to our society, and there needs to be a lot of more research done and more understanding about it, and like there needs to be laws done. So I understand. I don't think kids should be getting their parts changed.
But I guess my question
They
is,
can't.
what?
They have to be 18. That's already in place.
No, that's not
You
true.
know
the
that-
transition process can start much younger than that. and
Hormones,
currently-
yes, but they
and
in
obviously puberty
America,
blockers and-
yeah, but in America you cannot
And
get
a social
surgery before the age of 18.
Yeah, but
Legally,
they can put you
you
onto
can, it's
hormones.
legally, you cannot get surgery.
Yeah,
can
because the laws
take-
are somewhat ambiguous.
They
so
can cut your
Yeah.
breasts
Yeah,
off.
they can,
But like I used to teach a lot, and just from experience, and you know I don't know much, so I don't want to like say too
no,
much.
you're right
but-
about almost everything. I'm very impressed
and,
with how
like
right
right
you are
and
about
wrong,
many
like
things.
I don't, you know.
You know what is even surprising? Before now, people were not confused what a man is, what a woman is, or about their gender or whatever. Just because one person woke up one day and got confused, they want to turn the society upside down and everybody to be confused as them. People that really need help, that you should see them and get them the necessary help that they need. You want to play and believe that their delusion is real. Are you serious? Because we need normalcy in the society, and it's not too much to ask. It's not a crazy thing to ask. Because just because a man chopped off one part of his body, wears makeup or whatever, or put on a dress, doesn't make him a woman. If a woman, if a woman can't menstruate or can't give birth or whatever, doesn't even make her less of a woman. So the argument here that these ladies are arguing about doesn't even make sense. The fact that it just goes to tell you that lots of these women actually don't even know what they are saying. They're just following just because it is comfortable, or just because it is convenient at that point or at the right time. My question here is, they are the exact same ones that are complaining about men oppressing women. So if men are oppressing women, who are the men that are oppressing women? Now you have men who are playing dress up or who are pretending to be women, coming to invade women's spaces, but they are not a problem. Or you don't want to see it that way. You want to see that, okay, if you say the truth, it's going to hurt your feelings. Of course, the truth hurts. So if the truth hurts your feelings, you know the truth. That's why it hurts you. And I mean, since when did we start accepting people in their delulu and we don't want to face reality? We get a lot of people who don't want to face reality, but it's becoming a problem. The fact that we have to treat and see everybody in their delusional state. Normally, that is not how the society works. So how did we get here?
Don't tell me, like, you know.
Oh, I'm telling you, I don't care. You can tell me no, but you're
okay,
right about these
so I used
basic
to
things
teach a
like
lot
gender
of
roles.
kids,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of kids I noticed that have a lot of these gender issues, and then they wear their gender on their sleeve, and then they're like, I'm gay, or you know, like
Yeah.
they're like they tend to have depression. They're very like, I feel like they need support and help, not just in the gender department where people are pushing them, oh, maybe you should be gay, or maybe you should do this. Like, there's much more.
I had a girl come up to me. I was giving a speech, and she said, "Hey, Michael, thanks for speaking out on the transgender thing because I had gender dysphoria." And she was young. I mean, this girl was a teenager. And she said, "I had gender dysphoria, and my psychologists were starting to push me down this path of transition."
Like, that's wrong.
But-
I believe that's wrong.
Well, she said, luckily, I had good parents and a good priest, and they said, you're not actually a boy. And guess what happened? She kept going to see psychologists. They figured out that actually she had undiagnosed autism. So they started treating her autism, and what do you know? Her gender dysphoria greatly abated. Now it's basically
It all starts. It goes back to good family. I think,
Exactly,
right?
and because I've been teaching in San Francisco since 2016, so I've seen a lot of how that affects kids. I teach kids all the way from TK through high school. So yes, there is definitely a correlation between the two, but it's typically because those kids, you know, depression can be something that's brought onto you from your environment, or it could be something that's just a chemical imbalance in your brain. It doesn't have to be from a situation.
The
Hold on, let me
chemical
finish this thought
imbalance is
before I
kind of
forget.
debunked,
But usually a lot of these times is why there's this correlation is because they find that the LGBTQ community or whatever is more accepting. So they think, oh, just because my friends that I choose to hang out with or gay and stuff means I must be. Yes,
Yeah.
that's a problem. Yes, they shouldn't be able to just now go to their therapist and say, I want to now change my hormones for sure. That's why I don't, you know, in that situation it was a priest, but in a lot of cases it's usually another therapist intervention. I'm sure you can, in some places it's easy, but I don't have any trans friends personally, but I've watched a lot of experiences online. It is not easy to just go through these surgeries. You have to get documents from family, friends, therapists, psychiatrists, everything. It's not just you wake up one day and say, okay, I'm a boy. They're going to give you hormones. They're going to chop off and do this.
Well,
That's not how it works.
I talked to a girl who that is actually exactly what happened. She walked into a Planned Parenthood. She said she had gender dysphoria and she wanted to receive testosterone. And she was able to receive that prescription very quickly.
Testosterone and
Parents
hormones,
screwed up.
it's a lot easier because, well, unless you're prepubescent, most of the things, not all of them are reversible because, like, especially testosterone,
Yeah,
it's not all reversible.
Yeah.
But with those things, I could see how it is easier because it is a hormone, because just how those things are given out for other situations
Yeah, it's insane.
besides just
but
trans.
the problem, I guess, is this, which is if you really believe, as you say, that for some people are faking it, right? And some people think they're a cat, and they're not. Obviously, they're not a cat. But for some people, I don't know who these people are. There are really men who are secretly somehow women, and therefore they should transition to become women. So the question is, at what point were they the wrong sex? It's from the moment of birth, right? They were born that way. So if they were born that way, then why wouldn't we trans the kids?
Because that's the whole thing is, how can a child be so certain? They have to grow into those emotions and feelings.
I thought they knew you just said they knew from the
Because
earliest
yes,
moments.
they've known from the beginning that something was wrong. That's usually what it is. They know something's wrong, that they're not fitting. Like, for example, it's
but
not.
sometimes they grow out of it.
Well,
I honestly, I really don't think people
relied
grow
on
out of it. I
something
think
else.
they're either
A lot of it's
conditioned to
psychological.
not do it, or they realize the other way might be easier.
or that there's
and
a
then there are
different
people who are
problem.
faking it. Yeah.
For a lot of people who suffer gender dysphoria, or used to be called gender identity disorder, the vast majority of teenagers who suffer that will grow out of it. Within a few years, that gender dysphoria will go away. For some smaller percentage, that dysphoria persists. And
I think
they
you're
have to deal with
confusing
it
maybe
later.
gender dysphoria, or not just you, but these stats and people who report back are confusing sometimes gender dysphoria versus not feeling like, I don't know, a woman when you're growing up, or feeling like a
Right.
man.
So-
That's also what people, there's so many terminology and words and buzzwords out there these days that
Maybe
people
it's
try
the
to
same
label
thing.
themselves with anything when sometimes it's just not that deep.
Wait, so Kiko, I have a question. I kind of asked this last show, and I don't think I really got a proper answer on it. So my question was, ignoring gender identity, ignoring gender, if we're just looking at sex, if two males, I'm not talking about two men, I'm talking about two males. If two males were to have sex, is that not gay? Is that not homosexual? I'm not saying it's wrong, but is that
Since
gay
sexuality is
or homosexual?
I base sexuality off of gender. So I would need to know their gender, not their
But
chromosomes.
what, okay,
So if you
To answer
dated a
that
guy,
question.
you were dating, or let's say you were married to this guy, he's been your husband for 10 years, and then one day he says, I'm a woman now, and you went and you engaged in that thing married couples engage in, would you say you're a lesbian now? So the husband you've been married
Well,
to for
she
10
wouldn't be a
years?
lesbian, but maybe she's bisexual now, or maybe she's
No, but her husband is now her
Yeah, but
wife,
doesn't-
right?
I get what you're trying to get at.
Yeah.
Your
That's
point you're
interesting.
trying to get at. And technically, yeah. I mean,
you don't
I think
believe
it's.
that,
I think
obviously.
it's would be ridiculous,
Yes.
like for people to like go out in public and not transition themselves at all and expect to be like, if you thought your pronouns were she hers, to expect people to refer to you as she her or ma'am, whatever, presenting yourself like this. Yeah, I think things like that are ridiculous.
Yeah.
There has to be some types where it says gender roles.
So then
that's
you-
the whole. That's the whole reason why they're wanting to say they're transgender, is because they want to follow the other gender role, right? So follow the gender.
So then
role
instead,
but
this is a great point, because this is where I differ from some of the conservatives here. A lot of the conservatives say gender expression's totally fake and sex is all that matters. And I'm kind of with you in the sense that I think gender expression obviously is real. There are feminine men, there are masculine women, all of that's true. But instead of concluding, therefore, that we have the right not only to have any gender expression we want, but actually to be the different sex and to call myself a woman or call myself a man, why didn't we take in the other direction and say, if you're a man, there's obviously diversity is the spice of life, but you have a general obligation to act like a man. And if you're a woman, you can be kind of diverse and you can be a little more tomboyish maybe or whatever, but you have a general obligation to act like a woman.
You see, this right here is the reason why that BS where feminists are fighting for men and women to be equal is not going to be possible, or it cannot be possible, because we've got one side or one group of people who can think logically, and we've got another side or another group of people who think only based on feelings or emotions. And do you think the society needs people to be using their feelings or emotions? That is no, or the answer is no. And this is the reason why we don't need a woman to be a president or a prime minister, because except they want to be thinking logically, then fine. But other than that, if you think it is just going to be based off emotions or feelings, then nah, you're not fit for the job. But again, we've got bunches of confused women who think they want to own the argument or they want to argue and fit their narrative or fit what they believe in, when they know that what they believe in is not even true, and they know that they actually don't believe in what they're saying, but they just want to say it because it's convenient, or because in their mind they don't want to hurt people's feelings or whatever. We get it, the truth hurts, and lots of people don't want to live in reality or don't want to face the truth or what it is, and it is absolutely fine. But don't bring your confusion to the society and think everybody should see you that way or act crazy just like you do. But I really love your thoughts in the comments down below. You can share the useful information you think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all of that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.